This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Havlicek Trucking, Meyer Auto Service, and Birdnow Chevrolet. We're with head coach Dan Anderson, and we're still having conversations. That's a good thing, as MFL Marmac knocked off Iowa City Regina, ending the Royals' 20-game winning streak last Friday night in the second round of the playoffs. How'd your kids get it done, Coach?
Oh, it was just our kids played at a whole different level on Friday night. A big part of it was just the mindset, going down there, believing you're going to win and not being intimidated. It was kind of funny that my mom had told me earlier in the week that maybe I should have a talk with the kids about the David and Goliath story and, for the pep rally. And I thought about that. And I thought about using that. It was actually about 40 minutes before the pep rally. I'm like, you know what? We're not David, we're a Goliath too. I mean, we've won 21 out of 24 ball games, in the last 3 years. I mean, we're not a small fry, we're a tough football team. And so I talked to our kids at our pep rally about how it's Goliath versus Goliath tonight. And if you go down there with, the mentality that we're a big time school and we're tough too, you guys will have the right mindset. And our kids did. We didn't have any turnovers. We had very few penalties, and our kids just played at a whole new level down there, especially defensively. But I'll tell you what, we put up 21 points on Regina in the first half. And, Regina was only giving up about 9.9 points per game. And if we could put up 21 in the first half against Regina, that's pretty impressive.
And it's always necessary to take mom's advice in situations like this, correct?
Sure. So I'll have to apologize if she watches this, but she had the right, she gives me a lot of advice, and I take my mom's advice a lot. She hasn't steered me wrong too many times in my life.
No doubt about it. Defensively, to hold Regina to 7 points, that takes a pretty good effort. What made the defensive performance so effective last Friday?
Yeah, just unreal, the way the kids were flying to the ball and executed the game plan. Regina did get 7 points on us, and I told our kids there in the fourth quarter, it was 21-0 with about 5 minutes left. And I told our guys, I said, there is no 21-point touchdown. I said, if they score, I said, I know you guys want the shutout. I mean, it's pretty impressive to beat a Regina and knock them off their pedestal and after a 20-game win streak and the defending state champion. But, the kids also wanted the shutout, and I told them the shutout doesn't matter. I said, we cannot let them score fast. So we actually dialed back our blitzes. We were bringing a lot of heat there, and we were coming after those quarterbacks, and we were putting a lot of hits on those quarterbacks from Regina. They played 2 of them, and at the end of the night, I think they were both hurting pretty good because we were moving around a lot on defense. They check, they're an offense that, we get out there, they line up, and all of a sudden they'll stop their cadence. They'll look to their coaches. They'll give them a signal, and they'll change the play. So we had to work all week and make sure our defense was moving around and not giving them a look right away. So our safety would sometimes walk down like he was playing cover 0 man to man. And then right before the snap of the ball, he'd bail into a deep safety. And, we had linebackers that we call it, give them a little sugar. And they, some of them were walking up, some were stepping back. They didn't know where the blitz was coming from. And I blitzed more on Friday night than I probably ever have. More than 50% of our snaps in the first half. We dialed up a 2 linebacker blitz, or a safety blitz, and we're bringing heat from all directions. And, those quarterbacks from Regina were a little rattled. And, it's hard to throw a good ball when your ribs hurt. And those Regina kids were taking some shots, but they were all legal shots. And our kids just executed and flew to the ball. We didn't give up any big plays, 0. And we were great tackling. I can remember the game we missed 1 tackle, and, it ended up being like a 20-yard pass for him. Should have been about a 6-yard pass. And the kid, he got good athletes down there. He gave us a little juke move. We missed the tackle. He got, 20, but we had great pursuit. So we didn't give up a touchdown, but that was it. Besides that, our kids were lights out tackling. They executed the game plan. A lot of it in high school football is just being in the right place all the time and not being out of position, because they run a lot of formations, a lot of different, personnel groupings. And our kids, listened all week long, and they were right where they needed to be. And they played with the enthusiasm I've never seen. And a lot of that goes to our fans. We had more fans at Iowa City than they had in their own home stadium. Our fans were awesome. Our kids were jacked up, and our fans were loud. And that really helped us win that football game.
You touched on this a little bit. How much in getting a victory like this is related to mindset, the belief that we can go down there and get that victory? I touched on this when I chatted with Coach Truan with Decorah going down to North Scott and getting a victory, and he gave an interesting answer as well. how much was just getting your kids to believe that, you know what, there's two teams out there and we have just as good a chance of winning if we do things right?
It's 99% of athletics, is in your head, and it's mindset. And our kids had the right mindset going down there. There's so many teams that get beat by Regina before they even get onto the field against Regina because they're worried about Regina winning all these state titles. And our kids all week long, I think I talked about it last week, but we wrestled them last year, and that made a big difference. We were able to put a pretty good thumping on them with our wrestling team, and our wrestlers could see that these kids were big and strong, but we've got some big, strong kids too, and we've got some good athletes. They've got some good athletes. And, if we execute the game plan and play at a high level with a lot of emotion, you can't play the game of football at a high level unless you're enthusiastic. And our kids were so enthusiastic when we made a good play, and our crowd kept us in it the whole game. I mean, it was just a different level of football that we played on Friday night. If we play like that, there's no team in Class 1A football that we couldn't play with and couldn't beat if we're on for the night. And so, we're excited. Our kids know now that we can play at a higher level. We can continue to get better. We haven't reached our peak yet, although Friday night, we played pretty good football. We didn't have very few mistakes, but we went back, watched some film. There's still a few places where, we didn't have a touchdown on every play, and they did get some yards on us, although we held their running back to 41 yards and even averaging 150. And, we put a lot of hits in that QB, like I said. So, we always have room for improvement, but we played awesome football on Friday night.
Obviously, it was a very big win last Friday night. How do you move forward? Because part of the fun of getting that big win is you get to play another football game. When do you turn the page and get the focus back on Beckman?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I told the kids, enjoy this one, and I enjoyed it too, on Friday night and Saturday. I was still on kind of cloud nine, but I usually don't get too high and too low. I tell my kids the same thing, but I said, you enjoy this one. This is a huge victory, and we're still playing into November, and only great teams play in November, but it's, Sunday night, we're having meetings and stuff, and it's, that was Friday. Now it's Beckman, and we get our rematch at these guys, and we get our shot at them again. And everybody, was at that game, and, on our team and our staff, we know we didn't play our best game against Beckman. They're an awesome football team. They're undefeated also. We're going to have to go on the road and knock off another undefeated. So we're on Beckman now. I mean, we were on Sunday night, and it was time to start going, focusing on them.
What'd you learn from the matchup 3 weeks ago against Beckman to help you get ready for this matchup?
So we learned that, we lost, that night, because Beckman beat us and we beat us. We had two teams going against us, ourselves and Beckman, and that's kind of hard to overcome. Sometimes when you're playing a team that maybe isn't a great football team, you can make more mistakes and you can rally and come back. But when you're playing against Beckman, you can't. You got to play clean football. And by that, I mean, you can't have a lot of mistakes. You can't have a lot of missed blocks. You can't have a lot of turnovers in the game. You can't have a lot of missed tackles. And we played really clean football against Regina. Against Beckman, we had 4 turnovers that turned into 28 points. I guess, you can't ask for a perfect game all the time, but that wasn't even close to a perfect game, or not even, an average game for us. That was our worst outing when it came to turnovers all year long, with 4 of them. And, we learned a lot by watching our film against them the last time. I really believe that the second time you face somebody in the same season, I think it actually benefits the offenses a little bit, because you can see how they're trying to defend you in different formations and, things like that. And obviously, Beckman, put up 41 points on us the last time, but again, a lot of those were short fields. We know what their favorite plays are. I still have the cards, from the last time we played them, and I was able to watch a lot more film, and pick out plays where they were able to get more than 5 yards against our defense. And, so we'll drill more against those things. And of course, they'll have a few tricks up their sleeve, but so will we. And it'll be a great football game. And, if our fans turn out like they did last Friday night and cheer us on and get us all fired up, we could expect a really good football game. And, I just wanted to make sure I congratulate Northeast Iowa. Had a really good, week on last Friday night to have, Decorah win over a number 1, Waukon won, North Fayette Valley won, Key High won. We knocked off, the returning champions too. I mean, Northeast Iowa, there's a lot of good football right here in the northeast corner of the state. And so I just want to congratulate those other coaches and teams too.
And I know in the couple of years we've had these conversations, you've talked a lot about your kids' goal of getting to play in the Uni-Dome. The quarterfinal round is as deep as your football program has ever gotten. How big of a motivation is that going into Friday night?
Yeah, our kids were really, really bummed out when we lost to Beckman the first time because that was for the district title. And those kids won that third district title in a row. They wanted the three-peat shirts. They wanted to, they wanted that, and it hurt. It hurt a lot. It hurt the coaches. It hurt the fans and the kids. But they gave me everything. That they played hard that night. We just made too many mistakes. But we were talking. If we beat Beckman, we get this rematch, and we beat them. I think our kids and our fans and our coaching staff will trade a district title for a trip to the Uni-Dome in the semifinals. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. If we get these guys on Friday night, we come out and play like we can. We beat Beckman, so we didn't get the district title, but we beat the district champions in our district, and we beat a bunch of other district champions to get there. And, get to the Uni-Dome would be the sweetest thing ever.
All right. Hopefully you can do indeed that come this Friday night. Another tough challenge, but you had a tough challenge last week and you passed that one. Might as well pass another one this Friday night, Coach. Keep your kids healthy. Most importantly, we wish you best of luck, and let's chat again next week.
Let's do that. See you, Darren. Thanks.
Dan Anderson, head coach of the MFL Marmac Bulldogs. It's the Bulldogs and the Blazers in Dyersville Friday night.